become citizens, those people can be easily turned against the people. You know, it's just that if people do not wake up and realize the underlying huge problem that is really going on that we are not aware of because they're not telling us all of the details of it. But that's one thing that really scares me is because they're opening up the military to all of these people that are coming in here who have no allegiance to this flag. And, you know, and when that happens and our lazy, good-for-nothing, no-good Congress allows it to happen, then this country is going to go because it can't stand up. It can't stand up. Not as long as we keep electing these idiots into office.
You remember last month when Boehner, actually it was the beginning of January, Boehner says, you know, I am going to, we're going to fight tooth and nail to defund Obama's executive amnesty. And now him and McConnell have said, well, we can't really do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think they changed their mind. I think they lied to us.
Oh, they lie to you all the time because especially being conservatives, which we all happen to be conservatives. You know, they are always trying to push us and pull us and tug us the way they want us to go because they need our votes. As soon as they get our votes, they go into office, and then they do what they want to do, which goes against what they have promised us that they would do. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just a game that they play with us constantly, and we allow them to continue to play it. And until we wise up and realize what the game is and start playing it just like chess, then, you know, we're not going to make any headwinds. We're just not.
Right.
And but I'm going to get off here so you guys can keep on doing your thing. Just want y'all to listen in on Right Opinions on Thursday, February the 5th, and you will find out what a mess we are.
We'll do that. We'll return the favor and call in for you, Mona. Thanks a lot, Mona.
That's right. It'll be a laugh a minute. Love
right,
you too. Keep up the good work.
Oh, we're trying. We're having fun. Bye-bye.
That's the main thing. That is absolutely the main thing. Have fun. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Mona's a great lady. She's in our Tea Party network with us. She's an executive in the Restore America Together network in a roundabout way. She's kind of our boss, but you know what? She's a sweet lady, and she knows what she's doing, and she knows what she's talking about. So, and just to touch base on what she said, she brought up about how we need to keep now we have a Republican-controlled Congress in both houses. We need to keep their feet to the fire. Here we go. Here's what Boehner said on January 8th of this year. The president's unilateral actions were an affront to the rule of law and our system of government. The American people don't support it, and as their representatives, we cannot let it stand. I said we'd fight it tooth and nail when we had two majorities in the House and Senate, and I meant it. All right. And now they're not going to... Meanwhile, McConnell and his team have now expressed doubts about getting the 60 votes in the Senate needed to approve a House-passed spending bill for Homeland Security that included policy writers blocking Obama's executive amnesty. So, and here from House, Representative Andy Harris of Maryland says, kind of shrugs his shoulder, says, "Oh, we can only do what we can do." And to me, that's a cop-out. They only need 6 Democrats to go with them. And if you're telling me you can't find 6 Democrats, they're going to be having to fight for their seat in 2 years, because every 2 years, a third of the Senate gets elected. You're telling me you can't find 6 Democrats that you can put pressure on?
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Because it's not just Republicans, it's not just conservative Americans that are tired of this tsunami of illegal aliens crossing our border, taking our jobs, and taking benefits. It's not just Republicans that don't like that, it's Americans that don't like that.
Yeah, it really does. It makes you want to pull your hair out and scream, but what good is that going to do?
Yeah. Well, the only thing we can do is that we can put the pressure on them, and the only way that we can put the pressure on them is that we burn down the phone lines. You know, we call, and we call every day, and we try to get there's 21,000 people in our Tea Party. Okay, 21,000 members. If 50% of those people got one other person to call in every day for a week, and half of those people got one person to call in, and half of those people, I mean, you got diminishing numbers, but it's going to explode exponentially. And if you get their attention, I remember John Shimkus, a representative in Illinois, and a House member from Illinois. And I had, when I lived there, I had a matter that I took to him that I needed some help on. And his staff, by the way, top notch. I called Dick Durbin's office, one of our senators from Illinois, and they would not literally give me the time of day. They said, no, it's not something we're going to even worry about. We're not going to, we'll make a phone call for you, and that's it. John Shimkus' staff, a Republican, been over backwards to help me out and went above and beyond, to be honest with you. But at any rate, I remember I met Mr. Shimkus and I spoke to him. I sat down and talked to him for a few minutes, and the day before, there had been a lot of people calling in to the phone lines in Washington D.C. And he said, "Yeah," he goes, "I kind of have a rule of thumb," because I had asked him. I said, "You know, did your switchboard get shut down? Did your phone, get shut down because you had so many calls?" And he said, "Yes, it did." And he said, "I have a rule of thumb. Whenever somebody calls me, when I have a constituent that calls me and says, I don't like this, or this," he says, "if one person's calling me, there's got to at least be 200 other people out there that are having the same reaction." And he said, that's pretty much, a lot of my colleagues kind of go by that rule of thumb. It's just kind of an unwritten thing that if you get one or two people calling in, you can count 200 for everybody that calls in. So he said whenever the switchboards get so jammed up that they quit working, he said that's a big attention getter here in, back in D.C. because he was at a town hall whenever I spoke to him, and I got to speak to him privately. I was pretty fortunate about that. He says, "Yeah, so that's a big deal." So to me, that tells me we can send emails all day long. That's great because his aides are going to read them, and probably 1% maybe get through to the actual congressman. And you can write letters, but there again, snail mail, that's the same thing. Now, the only way that snail mail would work would be if you sent like a postcard, and you could get everybody that to send 20 postcards, because that's not very expensive. And when they get bags and bags, and I've heard of this happening. A senator's office will just get bags and bags of these postcards, and they bring them in and they dump them out on a desk or on a table somewhere, and that makes a statement. But the phone call is the most effective because you get right through. You may not talk to the person, but they log every call they're supposed to. They have to. So, anyway, that's just my little thing here. And, well, Brandon, we've got a few more minutes till the break. And I think that, let me see here. Okay, we spoke about the deficits, and we talked about the rules of engagement, and I think we're going to jump into the Keystone Pipeline whenever we come back from break. We're going to go to break here in a couple of minutes. So, Brandon, last time we talked, you talked to me about the similarities or the differences between a hunting rifle and AR-15. So I'm going to throw a heads up at you. I've read this article. Now, see, this is exciting for me because guns, I love guns. I own guns. I'm a gun owner. I'm a gun enthusiast. But if you looked at the kind of car you drive as being how much of an enthusiast I am, I'm probably a minivan, where Brandon, as far as a gun enthusiast, is a Ferrari. or a Lamborghini. So, but it excites me whenever I can get to talk about something that's in his wheelhouse. And I read this article about the AK-47 Russian rifle, and it's now going to be manufactured in America. So what I'm going to do, Brandon, is I'm going to throw you on the spot. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about that and see if you can compare the AR and the AK.
There's no comparison. The AR is superior.
Well, all right. You're going to have to prove it, buddy.
I know, and I will.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and we will be back in about 6 minutes or so. You guys take it easy. I'm going to play the Star Spangled Banner by Madison Rising, and then we'll throw something else on after that.
The U.S.